folks, it's Bob as usual, and welcome back to another edition of Traveling with Parkinsons. You ever had one of these things at the airport? I'll tell you what, when you get on them, you're going. You're kind of going right along, and you're not going to go back. They'll take you where you want to be, drop you off, and then you got to get on another one, and suddenly you're somewhere you never were before. That's kind of the way I feel like on this blog. I keep riding, getting off. It's a lot of fun, and I go places, see things, learn a lot of stuff. Boy, it's relentless. It just keeps coming. Well, here it is for this week. Let's get into what we're going to do here. All right? Well, we do have one story this week that involves these little guys, burros, up near Parker Dam. And we have some stories about some people. I'm going to introduce you to something called flash fiction today. And I went to the airport and learned some lessons there. Maybe I'll pass along a tip. Let's start off with a few pictures of the people that we are going to be missing here and that are leaving, have gone already. If you'll indulge me, I'll just try to go through these very quickly. I'm not going to name them, but here's just some pictures for you to look at, people that have been in our lives lately. People mean a lot to me. I hope they mean a lot to you, because that's what this world is all about. And we'll get into the rest of the stories. So don't go anywhere. There's a whole lot to see and do here.
Okay, I want to tell you first about Susan. Susan is a lady who has a whole lot more going on behind the scenes than you would think. Master's degrees and counseling degrees and all kinds of studies. And she's written a book, and she does something called flash fiction. I'd like you to hear this. Just a piece of it. I'll put the whole thing at the end. It goes about 10 minutes. All right, here it is.
It's called GPS World Healing 101. The dimple I crouched in seemed like a quarry. Shards of feldspar everywhere with a faint smell of gasoline. I could make out roads along the grid over the lip, but I dare not venture too far. Coordinating dreamscapes with GPS marks was only a decade new, and I could not afford to miss my rendezvous. The dark, misty sky slowly became paler. I felt damp and impatient. I could hear the kids in the distance as the sky started to reveal its true color. Smells shifted: gingerbread, jalapeno, and tar in varying values. There was a bite to the mingled scents. It was never immediately sweet or homey. A few bugs were left to work out with this new system. I had only found out about it a few years earlier in a hospital waiting room. A young man was talking.
I just can't get over the richness of her descriptions and the depth of the writing there. She's just an amazing author. And flash fiction happens in about 3 pages. It doesn't take long. I said 10 minutes before. It's really more like 4. So I'm going to put it at the end and invite you to listen to it. It's pretty fascinating stuff. So that's what flash fiction is. Let's move on.
Read it, and now we've heard it. Tell us what you think about it. What the piece was about, maybe. The GPS.
It just came to me. It was just something that came to me.
Just came to you.
Yeah.
Wow, that's just amazing.
Yeah.
Very the inspiration there was kind of weird. I don't know what you say. It's
most of my
piece.
poems are about things that I experience, or sometimes they're inspired. Like there's one about refugees that was inspired by a picture.
Wow.
There's
one
about my grandfather who was half Native American.
Well, that one's beautiful. Show me the book. Is that what it looks like in Amazon?
Yeah.
The Dreams. The Dream was to Soar Through Walls by Susan Chandel?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Susan. I promised you more fun with the burros. And here they are. And the reason we saw them on this particular day is because we went up to Parker Dam. Parker Dam is just north of the town of Parker. And I think it's I don't know, lake is behind it. I have to look it up. But beautiful little dam. And you can drive right over it in your car. It's a lot of fun. And there's little animals to look at, little burros and things. They're cute. Had a good time. Then we went to a restaurant and ate and had a good time. Parker Dam.
Have you ever played one of those first-person shooter games like Castle Wolfenstein, or one of those things where you walk around the bad guy's lair? You let them jump out at you and you shoot and kill them and whatnot. Looks a lot like this, but this is the Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport at 2 a.m. and there is not another human being in sight. I mean, even later on here, I'll shoot a picture out the window, and I cannot see another human being. I challenge you to find the 2 human beings that are in this. because they're not there, and they're not there for very long, and gone quickly. I felt pretty lonely. Walked around about 20 minutes like this. Actually, I've got about 20 minutes of video if you wanted to see it, with no people. We needed no people. Amazing place. So anyway, the other thing I want to say about the airport was that at this point, I couldn't find my pills. They're in my case that looks like a book. It has all my pills, my passports, shot records, everything. My life is in that little book. Police. And I had people come and help me look for it. And finally, we found it. It had been picked up from wherever it was. All of my stuff was in one pile for me and right next to me. And I walked away to check something and came back, and I didn't realize it was gone. In any case, it was on the ticket counter, and the rest of my stuff was still where it was, so they separated it from me. And I don't know why, but I just happened to walk by the ticket counter, saw it, and retrieved it. And then all the people that had helped me, I found the one man who had helped me the most, which was the guy in the cart, and I had to talk with him about our interaction that day. Tell me when you can talk, because I don't want to distract you from your driving.
I'm good.
What's your name?
Jamal Turner.
Walter?
Jamal.
Sorry?
Jamal.
Jamal? Okay, I'm sorry. Jamal? So you had an interaction with me earlier this morning. What was that about? What was that all about?
You were looking for your pamphlet.
Yeah? What'd you think of the guy that you talked to there? What'd you think of him? Was he frantic? Was he wild? What was going on?
No, definitely composed. I mean, trying to get it together, but definitely composed. A little frustrated trying to find his product.
Yeah, so what do you know about Parkinson's?
I know a little bit. I know it's a motor functional disease, but I also work at Rocksteady. Well, we have 12-pound boxing out here, but it's kind of like a Rocksteady boxing instructor.
Do you work there or you volunteer? What?
I volunteer.
You volunteer?
I only do it once or twice a month. I used to work there, but then I started coming here.
So why do you do that? What got you into that?
Man, my son was a boxer, and then eventually I just saw how much it offered once they started, the owner started reaching out in that direction for...
Do you think it helps people?
Oh, without question. I see folks coming there unable to...
It's okay, they can go because they want to stay on the chair.
Okay. Unable to move, unable to function, and then after half an hour, they have a good full day, 3 or 4 hours of normalcy, and a little bit of normalcy is all for actual people.
We thank you so much for what you do for all of us, man. Consider, if you will, as Rod Serling would say, a man who goes in to watch his son box, looks at all these old people over there boxing and making weird faces and strange motions, goes over and volunteers and decides to become an instructor for Rocksteady Boxing. What a man, what a man. I really am so appreciative that there are people like that in the world. Jamal, everybody. Wow, folks, well, you guess you know what that means. It's time for another tip for traveling with Parkinson's, and it involves this little guy right here. I carry all my stuff in this little thing that I call my pill box or pill case or whatever the heck you call it. I really don't have a name for it, but that's where I carry all my important stuff. And it might contain passports and shot records and ticket stubs, money, a little mad money, and all your pills. Pills you're going to need desperately, I imagine. So just everything. And I would keep it all in one place. That way you can watch that one thing. If you lose everything else, as long as you got that, you're okay in business. And then I'm going to get a cube. I'm going to watch this thing. I'm going to get a cube to keep track of it like my telephone. If it ever gets lost, I can make it beep me, tell me where it is, all sorts of things. These things are great. Get one. Okay, no, go ahead and say the title of it, and
It's called GPS World Healing 101. The dimple I crouched in seemed like a quarry. Shards of feldspar everywhere with a faint smell of gasoline. I could make out roads along the grid over the lip, but I dare not venture too far. Coordinating dreamscapes with GPS marks was only a decade new, and I could not afford to miss my rendezvous. The dark, misty sky slowly became paler. I felt damp and impatient. I could hear the kids in the distance as the sky started to reveal its true color. Smells shifted: gingerbread, jalapeno, and tar in varying values. There was a bite to the mingled scents. It was never immediately sweet or homey. A few bugs were left to work out with this new system. I had only found out about it a few years earlier in a hospital waiting room. A young man was talking about re-enlisting as there was no other choice. Lots of people were feeling the same way. There was just no money. As we talked and waited, some video screen flyers were distributed. They were the new ones, about the size of a 1/4-inch thick plastic placemat. Are you visually attuned? Spatially perceptive? Join us. An older guy recognized the program. Heal the world with your dreams, he said. He was brought into the program in its early experimental stages. On the pretense that he was indeed a risk to himself or others, they took him to the initial labs and validated his fears that he was onto something. The presence of snipers in the trees on the edge of his yard was more than a delusion. So he had signed up for the gig and reported that he and his crew had started on agriculture, reviving barren apple orchards and turning deserts into wheat fields. Yes, sir, wonderful landscapes from the mind's eye to the ground. So he was glad to see that the program was expanding and that there was perhaps a new peaceful goal for the armies of the world to focus on. When you can imagine abundance and create that sort of love everywhere in your mind's eye, what need is there for war? Most of us signed up for the program that night. We thought we might as well. We had nothing to lose, really. Houses in foreclosure, no career but the army. We had no weapons. Last night, when the wild boar ran through the bivouac lit by the embers, we were startled. My fear vanished as she seemed to smile over her shoulder. It is good to leave a trace of the past behind. The complex fabric of GPS World Healing 101 was laid on a soy gauze base. The new course of studying a melding of art, science, and spirituality fell under biochemistry in most university catalogs. The primary function, coordinating individual dreams so they line up with the satellite codes, was elusive to all but a few. It was, however, one of the greatest innovations of the century. Sometimes the instructors would wait for hours in dead zones where the faint grids rolled over the dimples to coordinate picnics, a term for revived war-torn areas. Skies, the unbelievable blue of a June day. You never know what can happen when restructuring the world in such remote areas. We have learned to move beyond the past. It's getting better and better every day. New picnics are sprouting up worldwide.
Wow, that is amazing. That is just, okay, I'm going to turn this off and we're going to talk.